You ready? You ready? You're my co-pilot, Peter. You gonna stay there? Cool. All right. Hey guys, I'm back. I got medic box number 2. So we've got everything from number 1 over here ready to be added to. You're excited too, Sonic, huh? The chinchilla's excited. So we got this ready. We are ready to dive into box number 2 of medic box. So phase 1, box 2, continuing on our duty IFAK. But first, of course, stations, all stations, we have medical items in the box. I repeat, medical items.
Better get the old man down here.
President's in his limousine. They're diverting to Andrews. The vice president is out of position, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs is on his way.
Rush priority traffic. We are now at DEFCON 3. Incoming medical rant. All right. Got your warning. So let's jump right into this box, and we'll see what comes in box number 2. Now we've got the pro level box. I went all out and got the most expensive one. I know, you heard me cut tape on a box, and now you're interested. Yeah, don't worry, you'll get the box. So we've got, I'll take everything out. I won't even say what we've got yet. I'll take everything out and give you the box. Box for kitty. Shoes for industry. I bet nobody knows that reference. Here you go. Look, and a box for Peter Kitty Cat. Look, here, Peter Kitty Cat. There you go. Yeah, there you go. All right, so number 2, we've got stuff. I like stuff. You guys like stuff? I like stuff and things. So I'm looking at some stuff that's interesting looking. We've got a sticker this time. Not a bad looking sticker, actually. Let's look for the card. Phase 1, box 2, as stated earlier. We're going to have 6 items in here, and then the pro. That's what we got? Okay. So let's go ahead and go through everything. Let's make sure I got everything. I always like to do that first. So do we have 6 items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because there's the pro. Okay, we do. Peter's going to squeeze himself into that little box. You look good. You look very good in there. Number 1, the NAR CAT tourniquet. Combat application tourniquet. It's a true one-handed tourniquet proven to be 100% effective by the U.S. Army's Institute of Surgical Research. It fits in the strap conveniently fits in the straps on the bottom of your duty IFAK. So this is the combat application tourniquet. What makes this tourniquet a little different from some other ones? Well, I'll show you. We'll get into it. I kind of want to leave it wrapped up, but I'm not, because I got to show you. And there is a chance I will get it wrapped back up like this. No, there's not. There is no chance I'll get it nice and new. Like, what am I doing? Nice and new, just as it came. None. So this has a twisty stick. They used to tell us, I remember way back when, to actually like make a tourniquet out of a triangle bandage and find a stick and put it in there and twist and then tie a knot on it or whatever. So this has a nice wide and sort of padded nylon band. Sorry, words escaped me there. To use as your tourniquet. You don't want a really thin material as your tourniquet. You don't want 550 cord as your tourniquet, unless you can help it, something like that, because you will do damage to tissues. I don't know how to explain it in better words. This is going to be a lot gentler to the tissue around where you're putting the tourniquet on. You don't want to like just tie a rope off. You're going to be doing damage more so than you need to. Tourniquet should be tight enough to stop the bleeding, but you don't have to like cause necrosis in patient. You're already, there's a host of things that can go wrong with a tourniquet. And I don't want to get all into it, but that's why it's nice to have the larger padded material, you're still going to make it very tight to stop all bleeding. But, you know, so this little stick guy allows you, and see how this nylon goes inside? It's actually inside the larger, so you wrap it as tight as you can, and then this allows you to exert further pressure without putting a pinpoint pressure, because when you use the stick, the old stick with the triangle bandage, you ended up with like kind of like a little, like a center point of pressure. This doesn't do that, you know, like right under the stick where it was. This has a plastic backing to prevent just where the element of stick is from pushing in on it. And then you'll use these plastic things to hold that stick, and then you can wrap this over there. So it's a pretty good, it is recognized a really good tourniquet. It's much better than a rat tourniquet. Yeah, I don't know anybody who likes the rat better than this. So very good to have in an emergency situation. And here's the funny part. I'm still one of those guys where, you know, they used to teach us back when I was a young medic, a tourniquet was all right, let me back up. Military field medicine is very different from civilian emergency medicine. But so today, in today's emergency medical world, a tourniquet is no longer one of those absolute last resort things you do, because transport times are so much lower, and the availability of higher level care is so much wider, that the times a tourniquet is going to be on a patient is so much less than it was when I was a little baby medic. And I'll tell you, so I first joined the Army. I've told you guys this before, so I don't mind telling you how old and ridiculous I am. April 9th is when I signed my contract, 1996. I didn't ship off for basic training until that summer. But yeah, so I mean, we're talking years and years ago. So anyway, now they said conveniently fits in the straps on the bottom. Is this the strap on the bottom? Because that doesn't seem to, I mean, if this is the strap on the bottom, how you put that conveniently and have this thing close up in any way? Did they mean this strap? Is this the bottom? Like this strap it fits conveniently? I don't know. We'll work this out later. I'm not sure. Because I was thinking they said straps on the bottom, like over here, but I don't see any. All right, never mind. Let's move on to the EMT glove pouch. Okay, so this is one thing that has not changed from the early days of when I was a medic. We had a crazy instructor named Sergeant Strode. He was the closest in life I've ever come to Robin Williams. He was out of his mind in the best possible way. And when we were doing like practical stuff at Fort Sam Houston, he'd be like, "Did you do this? Did you lick the patient?" "No, I didn't lick the patient, Sergeant." "Why not?" And you'd be like staring at him like, why the fuck would I have? But he's like, "Why didn't you lick the patient?" I'm like, "Because it's gross." "Good answer. Don't lick the patient. Why would you, that's bad infection control." So, one of the things that has never changed is that another one of the golden rules of medicine: if it's wet and it's not yours, don't touch it. That is how the majority of infectious diseases are passed, through liquid contact, whether it's bloodborne, saliva, mucus, any number of bodily fluids. Just don't touch your disgusting liquidy messes out there. And the body is capable of making some disgusting liquids. Now, yes, there are airborne diseases, but the thing is, at the smaller and smaller levels, those airborne diseases are really airborne, traveling on microscopic moisture particles. So it really all goes back to, if it's wet and it's not yours, don't touch it. Gloves are absolutely essential. Now, they didn't send you any gloves. I would have thought, it's great to send you, they're supposed to be outfitting your whole pouch here. Now, we still have some other boxes. We have one more box for the duty IFAK, but you send me a glove pouch. How about you give me some gloves? to put in the glove like that. I don't know. I'm thinking that is the first thing you do. And again, in whether it was so again, story time. So I did no emergency medicine stuff prior to me becoming a medic in the Army. I did first aid, but no actual emergency medicine. So when I completed Army Medic, and then I got that really sweet. So if you don't know what an AGR slot is, look it up. Being active duty in a reserve unit is just the coolest gig ever. But anyway, so back then, now it is a requirement, I think, that you have to become a national registry EMT. I've said it before, the things that these new kids do in medic school is beyond things we even imagined to do in medical school at that level. You'd have to be, there's different skill levels in the Army. There's 10s, 20s, 30s. And as you become higher skill levels, you can do more things. The things that a 68 whiskey 10 can do now, and of course when I was a medic, it was a 91 Bravo. They kind of flip-flopped those MOSs. I think now, the 68 series was a vehicle mechanic then. 68 whiskey was a light-wheel vehicle mechanic. And 91 Bravo was a combat medic. I think now it's the exact opposite. 68 whiskey is a combat medic, and like the 91 series are mechanics. Anyway, now you have to pass your National Registry EMT certification to be a combat medic. Back then, only the top 10% of the class even got to take the National Registry. So I got to take the National Registry exam. I didn't think at all I was going to pass it. I used to have pretty bad self-esteem, and I'd be pretty good at a lot of things, but wouldn't even attempt them because I never thought I would be any good at them. And same thing I went all through medic school. Remember, it was not my first choice to be a medic. They kind of said, you're going to be a medic. You're going to, but lo and behold, I made it. I passed, and that was really good, because that actually made me not only the U.S. Army Combat Medic is not really qualified. You can't go to like a civilian professional agency and they're like, okay, where's your certification? Oh, well, I'm an Army medic. Well, no. Where's your certification? You know a lot as a medic, but you don't have any certificate. Any civilian board has blessed you as doing anything. So having that National Registry, and it costs money to do that, to go through the National Registry. So to have the Army have paid to do it is pretty cool. Anyway, all right, sorry, back on track. So New York State has reciprocity with the National Registry. You can, if you have the National Registry, you can just apply for your New York State EMT license. As I went, further and further, so I because of the National Registry, I was able to get a New York State paramedic license just based off of that, which was very cool. Sorry, this is a long drawn out way to say, no matter whether it's civilian world or it's military world, in all trainings involved, the first thing you do in any practical exercise, and you will fail immediately if you don't do this, is either if you have the gloves, you put them on properly, or if the gloves are not available, because sometimes you just don't waste resources like that if you don't have to, you have to hold out your hands and verbally say something to the effect of, and I remember this was in what we did in Fort St. Houston, was hold up your hands and say, infection control for me and my partner. And that was representing putting on gloves. So even in the Army, they were like, listen, you put on gloves before you touch anybody. Yes, you're on the battlefield, but, we don't need to lose you to some bloodborne pathogen. It could be your best friend. And you can know them your whole life, but there are things that some people are just ashamed to talk about or don't even know they have. So gloves are super important. And maybe they'll talk about CPR shields and stuff like that at some later date. Or have we already? I don't know. I don't remember. So I don't want to... I have gloves I could put in here right now. I don't want to do that, though, because we're trying to not do anything extra. We're trying to see what medic box fills us out with. So, glove pouch, excellent. I actually have the same one in Coyote that I have affixed to my plate carrier in case I need. And so I guess that is what goes over here, which is where I put the SOG trauma shears right now. So I'll have to reconfigure this and figure out where I'm going to put everything. This can come off too. Because the trauma shears are really, I put them on there for now. They're meant to be worn on a belt or something. Get off of my glove carrier. So the way this works, by the way, is you stuff it with gloves, and then you close it up, and you're able to just draw the gloves out from this pouch right there without opening it up again. All right, and this is a good one, by the way. Like I said, I have the other one. I've had it on my plate carrier, so I've drawn gloves from it before, just for various things, and it does work very well for what it does. Next, we've got compressed gauze. Compressed gauze, Z-folded gauze, very tightly vacuum packed. All right, this compression sterile fluff bandage. It's a fluff bandage. Is the perfect tool to use in conjunction with a compression bandage to deal with serious blood loss. So this is gauze. It's sterile. So we've got the dressing. Remember, and I've said this 100 times, dressing goes directly over the wound, and then the bandage secures the dressing to the wound. Now we have, I think we have bandages in here. Do we? No, we have an Israeli bandage in here. So this would be for use with not an Israeli bandage. So this would be for use with not an Israeli bandage, when you just have traditional gauze. I don't know how big, does this say how big this gets? Can we just open it up and pour water on it, blue water, like a tampon commercial, just see how fluffy it gets? 6-ply, cotton white. It's a pretty absorbent dressing, we'll say, to be this big. But excellent to have. Okay, cool. Next, flat pack tape. Now, we laugh. It's literally duct tape. That's what it is. Duct tape is actually in stock on the ambulance. Well, it wasn't on my ambulance. I'm assuming it still is, because you can do things with duct tape. It is, you can use this to make a bandage over a dressing. You can make a dressing waterproof if you need to do that. This stuff is great if you take a piece of. Have you ever seen a Sam splint? So we'll probably get to Sam splint somewhere in here. Sam splint. It's excuse me, piece of aluminum. It's got fluffy padding on it, and you can bend it and shape it any way you want it, as long as you love it. It's all right. You can bend it into whatever shape splint you want. You can make a poor man's Sam splint by just taking a piece of aluminum, wrapping it in duct tape. It won't be soft and padded, but you can still make the same kind of thing. So you can use this to, and very good if you've got a long spine board. I'm just saying, not that we'll have it in this pack, but if you have a long spine board, to secure somebody. Okay, let's back up. You don't have a long spine board, but you have a door that you can take off the hinges in an emergency, and you need to secure somebody to it because you suspect they have a head, back, or neck injury, and you don't want them to become paralyzed. You can put them on the door, and you can just secure them down with duct tape, and just use an old pair of boots around, like put the boots at their neck with the, the foot part of the boot, or like resting right by their neck. Put socks in the boot up by their head, and then wrap it with this to keep their cervical spine and their head secure on the door while you move them. And you can basically wrap them to the rest of the door. You could, use this to secure in the woods. Somebody breaks a leg and you just need to make an on-the-spot splint out of some sticks or whatever. So, you laugh when you see duct tape in a first aid kit, but we really did carry it on the ambulance for different reasons. And one of the things we used it on the ambulance for, so we had this Velcro, the spine boards would have like these Velcro head blocks and stuff like that. They were so old and used. The city never replaced anything until it actually physically fell apart. So a lot of times the Velcro would just be shit. So we'd actually duct tape these things down, like every time, like, you know, and just cut the duct tape off. So yes, valid medical stuff. Cool. Next up is trauma shears. Look at this from Rothko, little black trauma shears. Now it's funny that in the first pro item in box 1 was the SOG power shears thing, the fancy ones. Now we've got the little ones that, these aren't the full-size ones either. I mean, I would have hoped they would have given us the full-size ones, but to put in this small little kit, I guess they went with the little ones. We've already tested some other little ones versus the SOG ones. We weren't as happy, but they will cut through. Oh, we don't have, man, I already threw away, you know, all those t-shirt shreds because it was a month ago. Boy, did Ethan have fun tearing up that t-shirt. These ones are actually a little bit better than those other ones we had, those little ones. But yes, these will. I'm dead serious when I say they will cut straight through a penny. You might ruin your blade a little bit doing that, but just to show the kind of power that they have in them, they will cut through coins. They will. You can amputate a pinky, a fingertip with these things if you wanted to. I'm not saying you should. Please don't do that and then say you got the idea from me. Let it be your own bad idea. But you can do that. You can also crimp off some wires there. It's cool. It's always good to have another pair of these because they are very useful shears to have. And they will fit in the kit. And then we have item number 6. A pen light for lumen. So this is for looking into eyes, ears, nose, throat. It's got a pupil gauge, and remember I talked about last one how the shears had a ruler on it because in the pre-hospital environment you have to document everything, and one of the things you might document is pupil size because that can indicate a number of different things. Pupil size can indicate a head trauma. It can also indicate, you know, potential drug use or different kinds of poisonings. One of the things that you would look out for real, if you have unequal pupils, that would be very indicative of something that you'd want to document. And then you could use this to say, you know, left pupil size approximately, whatever. And these are in millimeters, by the way. These are never that bright because if you're going to be shining it in someone's eye, you don't want, you know, we're used to these little lights you can carry around now that are like, you know, 500 lumens. You don't want to shine that right into somebody's eye. And you're not shining this directly into somebody's eye for very long. You do a momentary, just to see if the muscles in the iris react to light. And we had something called PERLA when you're documenting. Pupils even, PERLA. Pupils even, accommodation, and reactive to light. And basically that's a way of saying everything's fine with them. And you can play laser gun with it. So in addition to what would you look in, so when you're looking in the mouth with one of these, you're basically just looking if there's an obstruction you can physically see. You're looking if there's any kinds of indication of trauma to the airway. Same thing in the nose. Is there any obstruction you can see? Any indication of trauma, blood, other fluids? Same thing in the ear, indication of trauma, head injury possibly. Big sign of head injury is a clear liquid coming from the ears. That would be cerebrospinal fluid, which is on the scale of 1 to fuck. It's like fuck. One of the real good ways that you can test for that, and again, this is informational only, I'm just saying, you take a piece of gauze, it doesn't need to be sterile, whatever. if you see, it's not necessarily clear. It can be clear. It can be clear to an amber color, straw color. But if there's like blood and that clearest liquid, you just dip some gauze in it, and what you see is it dries kind of it because of the differences in, I don't know, what's the surface tension or viscosity or whatever. The blood tends to dry in the center with the amber liquid around it, the clear amber liquid. But that is if you see CSF coming out of the ears or anywhere else, that is a major. I mean, if you're treating it yourself first aid wise, stop everything and call an ambulance. And if you don't have that option, you secure that head and spine and back, and you go directly to the emergency room. There is no way, like, that is a life or death kind of thing. But anyway, so that's what this is for. This is not the kind of thing you're going to use as a flashlight walking around at night. It's not. The batteries in this do not last very long. You can replace this with a small, low-intensity flashlight later on, but these are very specific for a very specific purpose. And it's why they're not as bright as some of the lights that we're used to. Now, I will explain this for those who don't know. This turns on when you push down here. It completes the circuit with the metal in there. So when you're storing it, like in your kit or whatever, you want to make sure you have something non-conductive between there. Otherwise, if this accidentally gets hit and like pushed on, you could just kill your whole battery. And they don't have really long battery lives. You can kill your whole battery with that inside your bag. So will this fit? Yeah, see this rubber here will keep that from being pushed. Nice. Okay. This is like these are some of the most simple tools that come in a basic first aid kit that a lot of people just don't really know how to use. They just have them. They're like, what am I going to do with this? Like, they treat it like a little mini mag light, which it's not. And then they complain that it doesn't work anymore. So, okay. Let's see what the pro item is. Guardian Angel Safety Light. A wearable safety light featuring 4-hour brightness settings and flashing emergency patterns. All right. Let's see. It has a little bit of weight to it. Maybe you want to see that before I start opening it. I don't know if you do or not. All right. Let's see. Oh. This looks like something that might have been strapped to the end of my rifle once upon a time. Oh, it's magnetic. It's very magnetic. What's in here? A little USB-C charger. And this moves. Whee! Oh my god, I can just put this on the top of my head and put a little thing on there to rotate it and just go wee, 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 wee. Just walking around. I'm very, like, I want to know what all the things are. All right, so here's your recharging port, and it is very water resistant there. What's the IPX on this? I always say IPX. I don't know why we say IPX, because it's just never mind. Wow, okay, here we go. Let's see. It doesn't say anything about water resistance or stuff like that. Charging 0 to 100% in approximately an hour and a half. Cool. Has a 1,000 milliamp hour battery. Oh no, I'm sorry. It says it can be charged with any USB 1,000 milliamp AC adapter. All right, so let's work on this. So power on. We got to hold down the front and rear buttons for 2 seconds. Okay, it's on. It's on. It's active. Reminds me of a robot's head. All right, now let's press this. I'm gonna have to turn this light off so we can actually see what this is doing. Well, it's still got like the room light on. Shield that a little bit more. I don't know. Can you guys tell the difference there? Maybe? Kind of? Yeah? What are the power settings on this? Max, high, medium, and low. That's cool. Okay. What does this do? Oh. We've got a button on the... We've got a little light on the top. Oh, wait. Okay. So it's going to go on, and now we're going to have a little strobe. Peter does not like that. Okay, that's interesting. All right, I'm going to hold this down, and this should make everything flash. Or nothing. Oh, hold the GA button. Sorry, this is the GA button. All right, hold the GA button and everything should flash. Oh my God. You could be a police car. Or a carnival ride. I'm sorry, you don't like that, do you, PETA? I could just turn this on and stare at it for a while. I mean, I shouldn't stare at it, but I want to. And that turns everything off. Oh, shoot. I discovered a new mode. Hold down the brightness button, and it does this. That's an SOS. Oh, now it's going to do this. Okay. Can you stop now? Do I have to hold you down to get you to stop? Okay. I'm pretty much blind now. Wow. This is the work light button. There we go. White LED on. Turn it off. Now, if we hold it, it turns the white LED on, and we are an alien spaceship. This has a lot of features. To quickly turn off all lights, double press the GA button. Oh, now we have front LEDs. Constant on. Constant flashing. Now we're going to have a scrolling sequence. And I guess we can press it again for... No. Oh, okay. It doesn't go the other way. But still. Fun. Oh, there's rear LED light. Backup light. Hazard lights. Scrolling sequence. Wait, are we on the scrolling sequence? Oh no, there's the scrolling sequence. This is like Christmas lights too. And then off. If we hold, it says our battery level indicator. And this thing is fully charged. Wait. Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it's fully charged. Pump's fully charged. So this has a lot of stuff going on. I hope that wasn't too boring for you guys, as I discovered all... Ethan would just play with this for hours. I'd like the kind of polymer that it's made of. It feels pretty rugged, and, you know, it's got that look. You know what I mean? The look, that polymer. That kind of heavy-duty plastic. It's also got a little place to put a lanyard on it. It's a good magnet. That's a very good magnet. Oh, the magnet comes off? I didn't know that. Well, it likes the steel of the blade a lot more than it likes the steel here. Ow. It's a grippy magnet. That's pretty cool. And as it says, it's small enough to be stored inside the kit. So the question is, where are we putting everything? So all I have in here so far is stuff that's come in here. I haven't added anything. So I'm going to put this. I think I'm going to put the tourniquet with the Israeli bandage for now. I think I like them bunking up together. If I can get it to fit. That's like my heavy-duty bleeding control right there. Oh, stick. Maybe I have to refold this in a certain way to get it to fit. It came with folding instructions. I just did my own folding up to make it a little smaller. It's not in what they would consider quick launch configuration, but I can get it into action as quick as I need it to. It's still, well, it'll close. This is going to be a very bulky pouch once it's all done. That's okay. I don't mind. Get this guy in here. Really curious what comes next. Let's get our duct tape. Let's see. We're just going to stick that in here so that we can put our shears next to our light. All right. Is this all going to zip up? There's no real here's how to store everything guide. So you got to sort of figure it out on your own. And I could play with this whole setup for about an hour, but that's not what you got. I mean, it's not fun for anybody. Not even fun for me. I have to just reconfigure what's in here for an hour just to get the pouch to close. I am going to have to figure this out. And then at the beginning of the next installment, we'll see if I've come up with a better... Yeah, because there's got to be a better way to hold all this stuff in here. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll figure it out. And then in the beginning of the next episode, we'll see what it is. Because that's just a pain in the butt. This is why I wanted to use a bigger pouch. And, you know, it was a great idea for whoever said, use the pouch they gave you and fill it up with all the stuff. This is why I wanted to use a bigger pouch. But we'll keep going with this, because right now there is no room to easily store. You know, maybe they have a video on how to pack it all up the way that the way that they say it should be done. I don't know, but we'll see. And in the academy, there's a video on understanding trauma. I've had that class a few different times from a few different sources, so thanks. So there we are with Medic Box 2. I think we're having fun here. I think we got some nifty items in here anyway, and we're assembling an interesting little kit. You know, like I said, I'm resisting any temptation I have to say I want to add this or I'm going to put this in or whatever, because we're going to see exactly what they send us and exactly what this kit is loaded out with before we go to the, oh, but let's try this and let's throw in that. I'm definitely going to work on packing this up. So, what do you guys think? Was this more entertaining, less entertaining, about the same entertaining? Did you learn anything? Did you know, whatever. What'd you think of this one? I'm really curious. I really want to, you know what? I want to get all the way through the boxes and see everything they have. So we have one more in phase 1, then we move into phase 2 vehicle. So I'm really curious to see what they have for phase 3 EDC. That'll be really interesting. So thanks to all my Patreon team folks who are making this particular box directly and specifically, you know, all their contributions play a part in some manner, but this one specifically is all due to the Patreon folks. Like, comes right out of those contributions. So thank you guys. I hope that, you know, you're enjoying seeing what their efforts provide. Thanks to all of you who make this channel what it is just by hanging out and spending a little bit of your time with me. You are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.